Well, the time has come to catch more dinosaurs with the new Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I just wanted to play out a little bit, considering that today I'm going to talk about the latest Jurassic Park movie. But again, we should call it Jurassic World now that this is not Jurassic Park anymore, it's Jurassic World. I'm just blabbering, as you can tell. So, to a lot of you, I gotta, since you guys are recently knowing me, I gotta talk a little bit about what are my thoughts about Jurassic Park in general. I'm not kind of like the biggest fan of Jurassic Park in the world. But I do have to admit that when I was a kid and Jurassic Park was all over the place, I was really, really eager because I love dinosaurs. I still do. I still do love dinosaurs. Because in my mind, dinosaurs are technically the closest thing you can think of from being close to dragons, since I'm a big fan of those. But nevertheless, even as a kid, I loved the dinosaurs. I loved watching videos about dinosaurs. It was kind of like my plaything. And then Jurassic Park came out, and it was a huge deal. And unfortunately, I couldn't watch it in the movie theaters. I had to wait at least on home video. But I couldn't watch it completely. Some things here and there, but I couldn't watch it completely. That is until some of my relatives gave me a Jurassic Park VHS movie. But it wasn't Jurassic Park. It was the Lost World Jurassic Park. And right at the get-go, I think it is time for me to talk about what do I think about all the movies now that I kind of seen them all minus one. Jurassic Park, the first movie, it's a little bit cheesy, but it still holds up. I can see why people like it. But holds up is probably the most endearing term because you will notice a lot of how can I say, scientific fallacies that the movie certainly ignore, or sometimes they saw that it was fake or something like that. For example, it is now updated saying that the raptors weren't like that. So raptors normally they had feathers and they were of the size of the turkey. But let's buy it because it's a little bit on going into fantasy science fiction, and sometimes people get away with science fiction when but I have the theory saying that when you are doing science fiction stuff, you gotta be a little bit more grounded into reality, no matter how much fantasy you're gonna get through it. I mean, you're working into believability more than, well, doing something because, bam, it's magic. You can do anything with magic or with science. But there, that's my thoughts on Jurassic Park. The Lost World. I thought it was meh. It was a silly movie, but the whole climax of the T-Rex rampaging the city, that's the biggest highlight of the movie. I never saw Jurassic Park 3. I heard it sucks. But now, then we got the new, well, reboot revival of the franchise, which is Jurassic World. And when I saw that first movie, it's Jurassic World, I thought I was entertained. I wasn't very angry or nor disappointed or anything. I just came and got what I wanted. Just a pure dinosaur goes on rampage here and there. Probably I'm not kind of like the best person to point out all what is wrong with the Jurassic Park franchise. Even though I kind of agree in many aspects when I realized some of the fallacies that the movie had. For example, having what was it? What was the actress character Bryce Dallas Howard going around the town and running around with high heel shoes, or well, I wouldn't say that the kids were annoying there because I saw worse. And also, for me, the biggest issue that the movie has, while watching the movie, is that why the hell would you construct a theme park where most of those creatures have the chance to escape and, well, right, cause a high destruction and high casualties and all this stuff. And, well, that's what happened in that movie. Honestly, many people say that the movie's kind of forgettable, but for me, I will never forget the scene in which one character gets probably one of the worst ways to die ever. And it is between a combination between pterodactyls and this giant water dinosaur. That's pretty much the worst I can say. And boy, what a way to die. That was one of the that was really a way to die. But enough of that. So as you can see, I'm not one of the few people who was really faced by Jurassic World. And I thought that, okay, maybe I'm open for the sequel, Jurassic World 2. I heard that the trailer was very spoilery, and I'm glad that I didn't watch a lot of those trailers. I usually try to avoid spoilers except when necessary, because I'm one of the few people in the world that hate spoilers. So I just went there with no expectations. I just went there to just go around, watch a popcorn flick, and from what I can tell is that I was thoroughly entertained by the movie, but I can see why it divides a lot of people on the writing department. This is truly a movie that had potential to be a little bit bigger, but sometimes the silliness and the over-the-top stuff that it kind of overshadows a movie that apparently is not gonna satisfy the most hardcore of all the Jurassic Park fanatics. Oh, and by the way, people, I gotta warn you that, like always, there are some things that I want to explode from my chat, so I want to apologize if there's gonna be spoilers. So I have you warned, but I'll give you, like always, my opinion, saying that the movie is entertaining. It's entertaining, but sometimes it feels like it kind of drags on, and there is some kind of slight potential in it, but is either derailed or forgotten, or sometimes comes out of being flat, well, stupid. Which is sad, because apparently people had high expectations from this movie because the director, what was the name of this guy? I got my IMDb here. J.A. Bayona. They say that he's a very talented director. He created this horror movie that I have yet to watch called The Orphanage. It's not that I didn't want it, it's that I didn't get the chance. Maybe one of these days I will do it. But, okay, let's go now with why Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom kinda divided a lot more people. So, technically the movie, it takes place years after the catastrophe from last year. Because, like I said, what a brilliant idea of having a theme park filled with creatures that are potentially stronger and even deadlier, and treat them like they were freaking Disneyland. And when you come to think about it from the last movie, wasn't that the purpose of the first movie, and they find out that their test kind of failed? Jeez. So anyway, the catastrophe happened, and, well, everybody abandoned the island. I'm not gonna bother to name the island because I kind of forgot the name of the island. Both islands from both movies. I It's not always on my head the name of those islands. But anyway, the island where Jurassic World was, they escape. It's filled with the dinosaurs. They're left up there. But apparently there's a high volcanic activity on that island, and apparently people begins to debate it's whether to let the dinosaurs die and face their extinction, or let them live. So in a way, it kind of plays out kind of like an interesting take on ecological awareness, the respect of living life forms, but at the same time, there are people who there's also the conception that they are creatures that were created from human DNA manipulation. So there is kind of like a battle on these two sides, and we also get the cameo on the Congress with technically the protagonist of the first 2 or 3 movies are lovely actor Jeff Goldblum returns. Jeff Goldblum. He's just there just to have a little bit of a paycheck, but the way he talks, the way he gives his stand of why we should let those creatures die is kind of amazing, because let's face it, this Jeff Goldblum, even in the shittiest movies, somehow it's like I saw one reviewer describing Jeff Goldblum. He's kind of like a national treasure. He's just there, and the way he talks is totally charismatic that even I will forgive him for Independence Day resurgence. Okay, but the thing is this. The main plot is that we follow our female lead, Chloe, from what was it, Claire from the last movie, having Bryce Dallas Howard reprising her role into that. Apparently, she half kind of learned her lesson, because she kind of became this proactive animal rights person who wants to save the dinosaurs. And she also has this whole team. Even one guy played by Raph Ball. No. What was it called? Justice Smith. Justice Smith and another woman played by Daniela Pineda, who they're trying to find a way for the government to acknowledge that they must save the dinosaur, because, well, to kind of respect their life. But unfortunately, the government doesn't want to. They decided that they should die. They should face extinction again. So then she kind of gets the call from this guy played by Rafis Ball. He's this kind of usually obviously corporate guy who he proposed a deal with her. They are going to collect 11 specimens of dinosaurs in order to put them in another island for sanctuary. And the whole project is also backed up by this old man on a wheelchair who has a granddaughter who also loves dinosaurs. But one of the biggest problems that they have is that there is one particular raptor that has a little bit of a blue stripes that apparently, while being very, very unique and intelligent, there's only one person who could tame that raptor. And that is none other than another national treasure of this modern world, which is Chris Pratt, the other protagonist from the last movie. So Chris Pratt reluctantly goes into the mission, and we have all these characters. And again, with the what was this, Justice Smith and Daniela Pinella, they go there too. And lo and behold, in order to cut things short, they do find the dinosaurs, but there was ulterior motives on the whole hunt. Well, technically they are saving them, but there are corporate greedy asshole poachers who wants to grab those dinosaurs so they can sell them for profit. And they don't care how they're gonna use those dinosaurs. but but when I talk about that, it's gonna get really, really, really stupid. That I admit that even while watching in the movie theater, I thought it was really stupid. But here goes. So technically the first act, we had all these cool action scenes and also some very interesting talk about if we should let those dinosaurs get killed or not. But yeah, I was sorely entertained. Kind of watching the dinosaurs, seeing all those action scenes in which I have a little bit of a nitpick that I have to get to it later. But eventually the first act ends with the island finally going down. The volcano erupts and the dinosaurs die. I gotta admit that I did felt a little bit sad, even though we're talking about CGI dangerous animals, because in a way I can respect that. No matter how dangerous creatures are, they're still alive. I understand that. I mean, it's kind of like, for example, me saying that I love crocodiles, but that doesn't mean that I'm stupid and say that, hey, I want to hug those crocodiles. No. Sometimes you can like a dangerous creature, but taking necessary precautions to stay away from them. Unless you can see what these corporate assholes want to do. Sorry, but when I think about it, is that it's so stupid, and because the more the second act comes, they begin to add things that you might be thinking, okay, what's going on? You're putting too much on your plate. Oh, I have to let me think about it for a while and I'll talk to you later. Okay, I got some of my ducks collected, so I'll give it a try. So from the second act, we get a little bit of an arrangement of many plots kind of going on. Sometimes they cross, sometimes they don't, but little elements begin to add up. Like, for example, we see Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas working together. They also get separated and then reunited with Justice and Daniela, because the Daniela character, she gets captured by the poachers, and well, she has to take care of the blue raptor. Oh, and by the way, the raptor is also called Blue. Cute, but whatever. And well, they try to heal. I gotta admit that I was technically entertained in the moments in which they needed some blood transfusion because Blue was wounded by a bullet, and it needed some blood, and the only the blood that is compatible, they have to take it from the T-Rex. And I gotta admit, I was kind of entertained in for a while at that moment, even though it was used to pad out the movie to reach the 2-hour 30-minute mark. But okay, so technically what happens is that, like I say, the poachers captured those dinosaurs in order to sell them on an underground auction, led by the asshole the asshole corporate, the Raffensball character, because, well, for greedy purposes, and he's also in allegiance with another guy played by what was it? I think it was Ted Levine. I don't remember the name, but it's this kind of like this other guy who, I don't know, he kind of reminds me of Now I have nothing better to say about this guy. So forget what I said. It's another guy. I don't remember the name of the character nor the actor. And guess where they're doing it? They are doing it on the same mansion of the old man who he's the one who is legitimately concerned of the dinosaurs. So the rest of the movie takes place on that ginormous mansion. And they have the auction, shenanigans happen where they are captured. There is also kind of another interesting talk about how what Chris Pratt and that Bryce Dallas are not exactly the saints of the movie, because they also did their own stuff for money, all this stuff, which it's kind of interesting when movies goes into the gray area, but it doesn't get too interesting when they kind of drop it out of the window. But you might be thinking, alright, who will be crazy enough to buy dinosaurs, knowing that these creatures will somehow escape and bite your ass out? I mean, there's a high risk on keeping these creatures. This is where it gets dumber. The ones interesting are technically rich people, scientists, or military scientists, because they begin to explain saying that they just want to weaponize the dinosaurs. Weaponize the dinosaurs. Apparently they just think that they can manipulate their genetics in order to become obedient to humans, so they can be used as weapons. So in my head, it was like, so technically you guys are creating Riptor from Killer Instinct. Guys, play the game! Play the game! I mean, in the ending of that character, Riptor, he's technically a genetic modified dinosaur, a prototype. And in the ending of that character, he created eggs and multiplies and destroys humanity. That's what you get when you weaponize Jurassic, Cretaceous, Mesozoic, whatever you want to put era of dinosaur that they exist. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go into that tangent. Did you know that almost half of those dinosaurs are not from the Jurassic era? Some of them are from the Cretaceous or the Mesozoic era. So, for something called Jurassic Park, it feels more generalized. But yeah, that was... Okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy it, because most movies, they do that because they need a kind of like a greedy villain. I'm not the kind of guy who is always saying, oh no, not that plot point again, because we sometimes need this kind of plot point, because I kind of have to believe that even in reality we can deal with those one-dimensional, single-minded guys, either for good side or bad side. But that's not all. Not only they have the auction, they did create a Riptor. Yeah, they created this Raptor who is, I think it is the size of this, how can I say, the size of my desk. And it has longer arms, and it legitimately looks like Riptor, without the mechanic enhancements that in the Xbox version has. And the gimmick of that dinosaur is that since it is used as a military weapon, the thing is that it follows laser pointers, and when someone presses the button of a gun, it creates a sound effect, a sound wave that orders to attack. Okay, let's watch it a little bit on the perspective of a greedy, weaponized guy. Maybe why the thing is more effective than, I don't know, tanks or guns. Well, for one, I think they're gonna tame individual animals, and usually when you think about dinosaurs, you kind of think that, yeah, their skin are pretty tough. I don't know if it is proven that they can withhold bullets. Maybe they can. I mean, their rough skin are pretty tough. You know, maybe it wasn't a bad idea after all. Oh, and lo and behold, yeah, the big dinosaur escapes. It kind of became our antagonist, and we get our reason why we went to see this movie in the first place, which is dinosaur devouring people. And it's half satisfactory because it doesn't reach the gore factor, kind of like it did on the first or the second movie at least. But yeah, I kind of always take off that they don't, when movies doesn't go all out because they don't want to scare the children. Let them get scared. And honestly, actually let them watch Mother Nature, how it works. That's much more scarier than any movie that you see. So, oh yeah, and what about the grandpa? The grandpa is killed by asshole corporate, and the granddaughter kind of, apparently it is revealed that she's a clone. She wasn't the original her grandfather was not her real grandfather because she's actually the clone of his daughter. And guess what? That plot point goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. Once it's mentioned, they drop it. Because apparently they're more busy going around trying to avoid that very big deadly dinosaur. And at the same time, we got the Blue going around on his own thing, and we have to wait until we finally get the Raptor Battle of the Year. And yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna spoil you the movie. I'm gonna spoil you the movie because it's worth mentioning. Again, I'm keeping saying this. It's worth mentioning because, okay, everything is worth mentioning when I'm about to explode. Here's the thing. Yeah, the giant bio-weaponized raptor is killed. Blue is victorious, but during the whole rampage, the lab is filled with toxic clouds. And all the dinosaurs who were trapped, they cannot go out. They are stuck. And apparently, Bryce Dallas Howard, she got into a big dilemma. The thing is that she cannot release the dinosaurs outside because, or else they're not on the island anymore. And if they release it, they're gonna release it to the world. And that means it's condemning humanity. So she had this tough decision. Either let those animals die and save humanity, or save humanity, or condemn humanity and letting those dinosaurs live because they have the right to live. And honestly, I gotta say that this gray moral is really tough, and I applaud for going into something like that. But then, what happened? At first, she doesn't press the button. No, she doesn't do it. The little girl does it! She pressed the button! And because her only excuse is that she says, they are alive, like me. Honey, I understand. I understand that you're trying to make a big moral about you have to respect life. And there is this huge dilemma of that you have to respect life and let everyone live for the greater good of everyone. I understand that. But sometimes when you endanger, when there's a really, really high stakes, sometimes there is something called unnecessary evil. And don't get me wrong, I'm pro-life. I love to respect life on every other. But that was totally a huge risk. But a little 12-year-old girl, clone or not clone, releasing those animals to the world and not getting shout out about the dangers that she just put through out to everyone. I wish they could construct this better. How could I fix this? Make the girl begin to have a hatred to humanity. I mean, she, instead of doing something like talking innocently or something like that, let's say that, for example, the girl, after being revealed that her life was a lie and everyone around her are dicks, and it's not what, and she finds out that humans are not what she expected. She goes into a little bit of a mental breakdown that she lost faith in humanity and says, and excuse by the way, fuck it, fuck the world, bam, bam, go dinosaurs, reclaim what you lost. That's for me a little bit of a better constructive idea of how will you reach the conclusion to the girl pressing the button instead of saying it's a life. Life is more complicated than just that, and even the most difficult decision that it involves life and death are really, really difficult. And unfortunately, depending on the situation, keeping things alive is not exactly the best solution. It sounds heartless. I understand that. It sounds really, really heartless, and sometimes I even hate myself saying that. But it's technically the most rational way, and sometimes the most rational is not always the best, or the best in making us feel better or something like that. But in a way, I kind of applaud the movie to let us bring out that conversation. But you know what? At least releasing these dinosaurs gave us one last joy by having that asshole corporate guy getting eaten by not only the T-Rex but also the Allosaur. And then the movie ends with, now that the dinosaurs roam free, we get another cameo of Jeff Goldblum, stating that, well, they released the dinosaurs. We are now living in constant danger with them, so might as well coexist. So, the world, you see dinosaurs everywhere. You see you see in the trailer, surfers doing surfing, and there's this big ass water crocodile going to eat 1 or 10 of them. Kind of scary imagery. Pterodactyl flying around on the sunset, and a T-Rex roaring at the lion. And the movie ends with Blue watching a suburban town. Congratulations, you let a 12-year-old girl, clone or not, condemn the world. So there you go. You got the prequel for Dino Crisis. Or better yet, the prequel to Dinotopia. I remember just standing from my theater chair, relatively confused, entertained, but confused. And no one in the movie theater applauded. They were just as confused as I was. So, if you feel disappointed about Jurassic World, I can't blame you. I can't blame you. It's because you know all the aspects that this movie made great or not. I'm not very picky in those aspects, so I'm just the kind of take it or leave it guy, except for some certain circumstances. If you thought, like, for example, the character of Justice Smith was annoying, I could tolerate him. I've seen worse annoying things in the world. Kind of like, I mean, every single character from the Emoji Movie and Show Dogs, or sometimes for a lesser extent the Rampage movie, were much more annoying than this kid. At least, despite his funny shout, I kind of miss that when you strike fear, it's not like you're gonna get annoyed or something like that. You're in a situation. The character of Bryce Dallas Howard, the Chloe character, it was a character that I was kind of wanting to punch in the first movie. This one, you still want to punch her, but I'm glad that she's finally kind of realizing that what she has done, and sometimes her realization is kind of like the gut punch that she kind of deserve it. And well, Chris Pratt, we can't deny he's Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. And yeah, he may be a little bit one-dimensional. I don't mind. He was entertaining. Technically, I will probably say that Chris Pratt is technically the best part of this movie, apart from Jeff Goldblum. He can carry a movie. He is pretty charismatic, and some of the lines I kind of gather as Snicker. One of my favorite lines of the movie, and probably that was one of the few times in which the audience laughed and I also gave a chuckle, is when he finally reached the Fallen Kingdom. Okay, not the Fallen Kingdom, the remains of the Jurassic World, and he talks to Bryce, and he says one funny line in which he says, "Hey, if I don't come back, I'll let you know that it's your fault." I don't know. That was terrific. And well, what about cinematography? The cinematography, I have, like I mentioned, I do have some issues with it. First of all, I gotta admit that while the action scenes are entertaining at best, I can't help to feel like it's a little bit too tight. There's too much close-ups that sometimes the action doesn't feel that you are appreciating where it is. I mean, although I can understand, it is difficult because we're talking about an adult man facing 20-foot or 30-foot living beings. And that could be a little bit too tight, but sometimes it gets a little bit confusing when you see the editing that is a little bit too tight. But the lighting effects, the CGI, and sometimes even the timing I kind of like. No matter, cinematography wise, I did notice that there were some nods to the original Jurassic Park. That's kind of a little bit of a trap, I will say. But there are times that I like that it kind of looks like a horror element. Just take it as someone who didn't watch the first movie enough times to give it a very good appreciation. The thing is that there are some shots of darkness and shadow that they're amazing. For example, I really like, I think there are two scenes in which they're standing into some dark corridor, and every time when there is a shot of light, like for example, lava or some electricity, then you see a small shot of something dangerous coming towards them. That is a brilliant cinematography in my opinion. And well, what else? I think there is nothing much. Oh yeah. I remember. there was this stupid but yet kind of inspiring part in terms of cinematography. I don't know if they made it in the first movie, in which the little girl, she kind of hides on the blankets of the bed, and the big ginormous Riptor dinosaur kind of comes out into the shadow, and the way it was paced and filmed, it kind of felt like its own horror movie. And I wish more horror movies with monster do something like that, kind of like a boogeyman sort of some sort. I think that was brilliant. But again, I wish they could have done it into a horror movie more than, well, a science fiction movie more. They can mix. I don't know. That's it. I think I talked my piece about a Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Do I recommend it? That depends on you. Are you a big fan of Jurassic Park? If you don't, maybe this will be an popcorn flick of some sort. You might get dragged by the second act until you finally get the climax, which also it goes a little bit too long. But if you're looking for just dinosaur causing destruction into the human world, that this is what you're gonna get. I'm not gonna be overly picky or overly disappointed like many people are having with the Jurassic Park franchise. Although I still kind of believe that if you wanted to make Jurassic Park, I think this one maybe could do a little bit of a reboot or what am I thinking? I was thinking of making a separate continuity, but I don't know how this will handle. Man, now that I think of it, Jurassic Park is really another one of those franchises that, in order to continue, it's going to be hard to please the fans. Well, but it doesn't matter. No matter how disappointing a movie is, I still keep my love to dinosaurs and love to life itself. Unless someone decides to condemn us. Jeez, that movie really brings up some difficult questions.